right, it's time for us to get back into the interactive Bible study.
You're also going to have to go round everybody up.
Yeah, I know. We went a little long on that last service, so we're a little...
I don't know whose fault that was.
I don't know that either. So we're kind of moving right ahead because it's time. So, when we get going, are we going to be in... We're going to be in a bunch of places, it looks like.
Yeah, we're going to be in a bunch of places, but we'll eventually be in Exodus.
Get ready for the Bible drill, because
pretty much
it's coming. When he says charge, then you can start looking. Okay?
We're going to play a game at first, so.
Oh, that's good.
It's gonna be fun.
Games are fun.
I hope so.
Okay. I didn't really prepare a song, but since there was so much disappointment last week, I kind of have one that I've been sitting on. I doubt any of you will know this song because it's from an 80s show that I don't think many people watched. I think you and I watched. I know you and I watched it because it was about a helicopter.
I know.
So it goes like this. Oh, you're gonna give me the accompaniment?
No.
I'll take the accompaniment. Please like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, and then 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 hit the notification bell.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, that was Airwolf. What's funny is that, YouTube has algorithms that check to see if any video steals content from other videos. And so like if we were to play a song that someone else recorded on our video, we don't do this anyway, but we wouldn't be allowed to play commercials on ours to monetize to make money. YouTube will play commercials for us and make money for them. But sometimes the songs that Paul sings are musically close enough to the theme song that our YouTube video gets the copyright from the other YouTube, from whatever the original song was. It's silly. All right, so what we're going to do today, all the people in the lobby ought to come join us too, because this is going to be fun, at least for the start. They should at least stay for the start, because this is going to be fun. Because we're going to take a detour for at least a few minutes from our normal Exodus Bible study that we've been going through, because there has been somewhat, I don't know if you know about this, but there's been somewhat of a controversy around Christianity this week, because, and I try to say this without putting my own point of view in it. Lifeway, which is a Southern Baptist publishing organization that does all kinds of different things. They make Bibles, they make Sunday school material, they make vacation Bible school material. They were going to, or had started to, sell a devotional book that was targeted towards young people. And it was called The Word According to Gen Z. Okay? And if you don't know what Generation Z is, that's people who were born 2000 to now, okay? Just so you know, I bought the devotional because of all these people talking about it that I heard, and everybody was complaining about this. It's so horrible. The way the devotional works is at the beginning of each section of the devotional, they have a Bible verse, like a devotional does. However, they've translated the Bible verse into what they're calling Generation Z language. Okay? In my opinion, really, I only have 15 minutes left? Oh. Heart attack. Paul and I are having an argument here. No, I didn't think I was that long-winded. As the youth pastor, I have never heard a person who fits into Generation Z talk like this. And when I did research on this, the guys who made this up sort of translated the Bible into Gen Z language, sort of as a joke to bring the young people into studying the Bible. That was their idea. However, 0 people got the joke. And all over the place, all over YouTube, all over the news, Christians have been complaining about this product, so much so that 3 days after Lifeway started to release it, they pulled it off of their website. And in case you didn't know that it was a joke, The guys who made it yesterday put a video up on their Instagram and on their YouTube account entitled, "Love Thy Karen." And what's a Karen? A Karen is a middle-aged woman who complains about everything, who asks to talk to the manager. And in their video, "Love Thy Karen," one of them, who has a beard, put on a blonde wig and held up their devotional book and said, "This is canceled. This is canceled." And they said, "Don't worry, fam, we're going to go through with the devotional anyway." So if that didn't let you know that it was a joke, it's not meant to be like, this is how the Bible should read, this should replace the King James, which is what people were thinking. That's not what it's for. So the Bible verse at the beginning of each one it's a tool to draw people in. Okay, so what I want to do at the start, okay, since I have it, and they've actually released several videos on their YouTube channel of them translating Bible verses into Gen Z. So I have 2 whole pages here of Bible verses. And what I want to do is I want to play a game at the start here. Okay? And I want to read to you the Gen Z translation and see if you can guess what Bible verse it's supposed to be. Okay? And I think by doing this, this will help us see that it's just a tool to draw people in. And sometimes Christians overreact to things, in case you didn't know. And this is a case in point. Okay? So here we go. This is and you know, like Haley's back there, the Gen Z people in the room are going to tell us if this is how they really talk to each other. Okay? So here's the first one, okay? You're going to tell me, you're going to give me the regular English translation of what I'm telling you. Did I do something wrong? Okay, I thought it was, okay. Here you go. This is the first one, okay? It's not going to be on the screen because I didn't have time to prepare this. I just have it printed for me. And if you want copies of this, I can give you copies of this, but still. Okay, here we go. Since day uno, there was Cap G. Big J was chilling with Cap G, and Big J was Cap G. Okay, you want to hear that again? Since day uno, there was Cap G. Big J was chilling with Cap G, and Big J was Cap G. Okay, this is John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay, now, in fairness to the critics, when you translate John 1:1 this way, it does give you theological problems with the verse. However, I don't think that we're meant to do deep theological study from this translation of this verse. Is he putting it? Okay, he's putting it on the screen behind me. Okay, you ready for the next one? This is one of my favorites, actually. Cap G's words, with a Z, are one hundo, straight up slicing and dicing and knowing it all. Anyone? Cap G's words are one hundo, straight up slicing and dicing and knowing it all. This is Hebrews 4:12. Paul? Oh, Paul's, I'm going too fast. John 1:1's still there. There we go. Say, Perry's got 100% on this. Perry is apparently very Gen Z. This one may be my favorite. Okay, you ready? The third one. I got your holy scripts padlocked in my chest thumper. Hey, Lil got that one. That's Psalm 119:11. Are you having fun yet? Oh, Paul doesn't. I'm sorry, Paul. I'm going too fast for you. There's a lot of Psalms, and there's a lot of Psalms 119. Yeah, I've hidden your word in my heart, so I might not sin against you. I got your holy script padlocked in my chest thumper. Okay, this one is particularly, I will give you a clue, this one is particularly relevant to our study that we've been doing so recently in the sermons. Not swerved by these scripts, because Cap G be given that get-out-of-jail-free card to the whole fam. Not swerved by these scripts, because Cap G be given that get-out-of-jail-free card to the whole fam. Anyone? This is Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the word of God. Do you see the similarity now that's up there? Not swerved by these scripts, because Cap G be giving that get out of jail free card to the whole fam. Haley, is this how you talk with your friends? No. Thankfully not. I know I've said this several times, but this one may be my favorite. I don't know if I can say this one without laughing. This one and the next one I will have trouble not laughing at. Okay, ready? Take that noggin guard of Savies and that big old knife of Cap G's words. Take that noggin guard of Savies and that big old knife of Cap G's words. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword. This is Ephesians 6:17. Charge. I'm sorry. No, I need to see the back. I need to see the screen, so I got to stop turning around. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Cap G's words. Well, see here, I don't think any adult would be enticed to study the Word of God by this. However, I will tell you that I studied the Word of God because of it. Okay, because how'd they get that out of that? So I went and studied it. Okay, so and I have to say, okay, I may not say this in a nice way. So if I say this rudely, forgive me. I have grown up in the church, and there are times when, more often than we want to admit, there are times when the young people who are Christians need to do things to shake up the old people who are Christians. I was talking about one instance with Paul this morning. There was one time, 1,000 years ago now, when we were still downtown and we had a balcony. Okay, and the youth group, like the adults always sat down on the floor, and the youth were always up in the balcony, which was a bad idea. That's why we don't have a balcony here. But we had a band come to do a concert at the church. And even when I say band, that word, it was a 4-part harmony group. Okay? But they kind of did upbeat stuff and, the bass guy, kind of stuff. But it was a little too contemporary music for the church at that time that, when my mom moved from the organ to the piano, thought the piano was inappropriate music. So this was before we brought the drum set in and killed people with it. And everyone down on the floor was like staring daggers at a Christian 4-part harmony group because their music was inappropriate. Okay, maybe there were a few, okay? This is the first time they were there, and and I don't know how you know my personality, but that kind of Christianity annoys me, because I've been dealing with that my whole life. There used to be people who would say, someone new would come in and sit down, and they'd say, "Good morning, you're in my seat." When the Bible talks about Jesus being the gardener who prunes off the dead branches, I always thought that was a good thing. Okay, and sometimes, inappropriately, mind you, I took it as my job to be the gardener's assistant. So at this concert, what I decided to do was organize the entire youth group sitting in the balcony we were kind of in music, clapping and stuff. And I felt bad for the band because, it was just hate being thrown at the stage. So I said, what we're going to do is we're going to encourage them from the balcony. We're going to stand on the arms of the chairs and clap and dance and sing along. So what you have to do is you have to picture being an adult down on the floor and turning around and looking up at the balcony, and there, silhouetted behind the beautiful stained glass window, was the entire youth group, led by the pastor's son, dancing and clapping on the arms of the chairs of the balcony. And hopefully some of the adults were awakened by that. Probably they were just angry with me, because that happened a lot. No, the balcony was still. And they shouldn't have seen how I cleaned the wood front of the balcony walking across the backs of the pews. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that. But sometimes young people need to wake up old people, and sometimes if you are given a Bible verse like this, presented in a different way that makes you think about it instead of just reading it like you always have, it makes you think and is a good thing. And if having a verse like this that even a Gen Z person can't understand because nobody talks like this, brings a young person into studying the Bible, then it's a good thing. Okay? Good. That's given me a lot of time to get my laughter under control. Because the next verse that they translate goes like this. Moo-moo food goes bye-bye, and pedal pads take an L. But Cap G's scripts are perm. Moo-moo food goes bye-bye, and pedal pads take an L. But Cap G's scripts are perm. Well, it's moo-moo food, so what do moo-moos eat? Grass. There it is. It's Isaiah 40, verse 8. The grass withers and the flowers fade away, but the Lord of the Lord stands forever. Never would have gotten that one? I'm having fun with this. I don't know if you're having fun with this, but I'm the one with the microphone. I'm having fun, so we're going to keep doing this. Okay? Stash them in the real talk, because your script is a real talk. Stash them in the real talk, because your script is a real talk. Perry is so good at this. John 17:17. I don't know. I'm surprised and slightly disturbed. So is he. Okay. Cap G, being the real one, took us zombies and high key gave us the real game. Cap G, being the real one, took us zombies and high key gave us the real game. No, even Perry can't get this one. Put Ephesians 2, 4, and 5 on the screen, Paul. That got everybody, yeah. Is it up there yet? A lot of Ephesians. Oh, you know what? I know why this is a problem. I meant to give you a copy of this. I thought he was back there with a copy of... I'm sorry. That's my fault. Say, because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive in Christ, even when we were dead in our transgressions, we were zombies. It is by grace you have been saved. Okay, I'll give you a clue. This one starts Jesus... Oh, I guess it should say, Big J said, dudes can't make it on hammy blankets alone. Got a feast on that real talk from Cap G. So, Big J said, dudes can't make it on Sammy blankies alone. Got a feast on that real talk from Cap G. Hey, that one you got. I like that, Sammy blankies. I want a t-shirt with this next one on it. Okay, ready? This is the next one. Your script is lit. Your script is lit. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, Psalm 119, 105. John does use the word lit. I love these. This is so much fun. Suit up. Don't play the bench or you're straight up playing yourself. Suit up. Don't play the bench or you're straight up playing yourself. This is James 1:22. You guys can look it up too. I mean, you don't have to wait for Paul to put this on the screen. Don't play the bench, you're straight up playing yourself. Don't listen, be doers of the word. You ready to keep going? He doctors your saddies and band-aids your boo-boos. He doctors your saddies and band-aids your boo-boos. Psalm 147, verse 3. What'd you say? None of your athletes speak like this? You're looking up places where John's saying lit. Did you get Psalm 147, 3, Paul? Okay. I don't know whether I said it or not. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So he heals your saddies, and he band-aids your boo-boos. Paul, this is Matthew 5:44, which is translated, "Love thy boomer and pray for them Karens." Love thy boomer and pray for them Karens. Psalm 34:4. I Marco Polo'd Cap G, and he didn't leave me on red, and snatched up all my scaries. I Marco Polo'd Cap G, and he didn't leave me on red, and snatched up all my scaries. Okay, I know I've said this. This one may be my favorite. Okay, this is the last one in the devotional. We can do more if you want, because there's some more fun ones. This is Micah 7:8. Don't flex on me, sus dude. If I slip, I don't dip. When life goes on dark mode, Cap G keeps it lit. You should send this to John. Micah 7:8. Don't flex on me, sus dude. If I slip, I don't dip. When life goes on dark mode, Cap G keeps it lit. I like that one because it almost rhymes. Don't gloat over me, my enemy. Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, Cap G keeps it lit. All right, I just want to finish the list because I'm just having so much fun. And Perry stopped talking because he's getting all these. 2 Kings 2:23 and 24. 2 Kings 2:23 and 24. Little E was cruising, and some dudes were roasting his socks off, which made him big mad. Some big mama bears came and made the squad din-din. Little E was cruising, and some dudes were roasting his socks off, which made him big mad. So some big mama bears came and made the squad din-din. Yeah, Elisha's apparently Little E. 1 Corinthians 13:11. 1 Corinthians 13:11. I used to be a noob, now I'm not a noob. All right, Paul, put up Matthew 5:13 and 14. I'm going to read this one first and then translate it. Maybe I should do that this way, okay? Okay, so you're the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. And the Gen Z translation translates that, be salty and lit, fam. And in case you wanted to know, they do make a t-shirt with that on it. Be salty and lit, fam. Matthew 26:51 to 52. Matthew 26:51 to 52. You can follow along if you want. Excuse me. With that, one of Jesus' companions reached for his sword, drew it out, and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Put your sword back in its place, Jesus said to him, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Dude got his ear clapped, and Jesus was like, chill, fam. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Exodus 14:21. Exodus 14:21. This is coming up pretty close. This is where the Israelites crossed the Red Sea. Exodus 14:21. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land, and the waters were divided. And the Gen Z, Haley will laugh at this one. The Gen Z translates this verse, Moses yeeted the sea. Moses yeeted the sea. And I was wrong. This one is my favorite. Job 121. This one, I would wear the t-shirt with it on it. Job 121. I know. I'm scared. Well, they sell them too. So this is the part where Job says, the Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. And the Gen Z version is, the Lord yeeteth and the Lord yoinketh away. Haley's having fun back there now. How about, can anyone do Genesis 1:1? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. De uno, cap G, sandcastle, big sky, little rock. De uno, cap G, sandcastle, big sky, little rock. This one's good for the men's group. Paul, Proverbs 27:17. It's also good for our geographical area. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. As John sharpens John, so one John sharpens another John. Yeah, Corey says John. You've overcome that. Galatians 6:2. Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Forklift your fam saddies, so Cap G's sketch is maxed out, relaxed, and all cool. Forklift your fam saddies, so Cap G's sketch is maxed out and relaxed and all cool. That one's hard for me because I want to continue the theme to the Fresh Prince. I got two more. Luke 6:31. Luke 6:31. Paul's having a workout. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Don't want shade? Don't throw it. You've heard that before? All right, we'll do the last one the other way, okay? So you're going to try to guess this one more time. It's the last one I have. Don't be triggered, fam, jam, and hammies, when the game hands you a fanny pack full of bark dookie. Don't be triggered, fam, jam, and hammies, when the game hands you a fanny pack full of bark dookie. Bark. Don't be triggered, fam, jam, and hammies, when the game hands you a fanny pack full of bark dookie. What? This is James 1:2. Consider it pure joy, brothers, when you face trials of many kinds. Or bark dookie. I had so much fun with this. I don't know if you... Haley was back there laughing. I like the ones that she couldn't keep from laughing because that's when you know that a young person really laughed, is when it bursts out. Because, again, as the youth pastor, I know that there are times when they think things are funny, but it's like, no, I'm not going to let you know that I think it's funny. But when it bursts out, or when Corey can't breathe because she's laughing so hard. Exactly, yeah. Corey nearly died in youth group the one time when I said the words chapter 2. It's going to happen again. Yes. Okay, she wants me to tell you that I didn't say chapter 2. I said chapter 2. And that was apparently really funny to Corey. Your script is lit. That's what I want. I want a t-shirt that the front says, your script is lit, and the back says, the Lord yeeteth and the Lord yoinketh away. That's what I want. Yeah, hey, let's start a conversation. Well, that happens anyway. We're going to get to Exodus chapter 9 here, and we're in the middle of the plagues. And if you want, okay, and I wanted to do this for you, but again, I can't play. We're streaming on YouTube right now, so I can't play a YouTube video for you, or else we will be copyright striked and taken down. If you want, when you get home, you can look up the YouTube channel from Sunday Cool Tees. It's all one word, Sunday Cool Tees, T-E-E-S, T-E-E-S, like T-shirts. That's the YouTube channel of the guys who did this. And they have a Gen Z translation of the 10 plagues of Egypt. I wanted to play that for you so you would know about when the croaks come and Kermits, frogs. But I don't have a Gen Z translation of this, so it's going to be normal English now. Unfortunately, I apologize. I mean, I could bring Haley up and she could translate as I go, like a little, sign language person. But she says she doesn't talk like that, so. Do you want, when I have to read, like we're going to be at verse 8 and we start, and it says, then the Lord, do you want me to say cap G? Yeah. I don't know. All right, I have to tell this story because it's inappropriate. I got my master's degree at Villanova, which is a Catholic university. So every room has at least one crucifix on the wall. And actually, the lab where I did my experiment had 2 doorways that you came in, and over each doorway there was a crucifix, which was always confusing. That's why we have 2 Jesuses in the room here on the cross. I always felt it was cruel, too, as a Protestant person, that Catholics like to keep Jesus on the cross. But, it's not where the story ends. So that was just me. But to be the irreverent Protestant that I am, when I would enter a room, and all my classmates thought this was hilarious, I would come in, and I would turn around to the crucifix, and I'd go, "Sup, JC?" And that was fine until I had a professor who was Catholic, and he really decided he didn't like that I was being very inappropriate towards Jesus. So I don't know that Big J is that different than me calling him JC. Verse 8, chapter 9, verse 8. It says, then Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron, oh, by the way, Aaron in the Gen Z is A squared. Because there's 2 A's, AA. Like Aaron's playing drums, and I'll call him Aaron. Aaron, but A squared. So Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot from the furnace and have Moses toss it in the air in the presence of Pharaoh. It will become fine dust over the whole land of Egypt, and festering boils will break out on men and animals throughout the land. So they took soot from the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. Moses tossed it into the air, and festering boils broke out on men and animals. The magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils that were on them and on all the Egyptians. But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as Yahweh had said to Moses. So the next plague is they take dust from the furnace and throw it in the air. I always think this is like, I don't know whether this is like LeBron James at the beginning of a basketball game or like an angry baseball coach throwing the dirt in the referee's face, the umpire's face. Well, as you would think, if you were Pharaoh, and these guys who are causing you trouble come in, don't say anything. And then immediately you break out in boils. I don't know, I mean, this one is one of the shortest descriptions of the plagues, but this one always fascinates me because of the theatrics of the moment. Okay, fine, I'll see Moses and Aaron. I don't know whether I want to know, I want to see this one. I don't know whether they came in the door, what do you want? Or whether it was just like step inside the door. Whether I'm doing it like angry. I don't know whether they did it angry. This one, yeah, like little fairy dust for you, Pharaoh. I'm just curious about this one. I'm sorry. Maybe it was too much Gen Z reading that made me curious. But no, I always get curious about this one. When it says the magicians couldn't stand before Moses, Frank has a question.
I was just curious, did Pharaoh bring out boils or not?
We would think so, yeah. It's all the Egyptians. Well, this says all the Egyptians, so this is another one where there's a difference between the Egyptians and the Hebrews. And when it says they couldn't stand, apparently what scholars think is that the particular boils that broke out affected the joints of the person so that their knees hurt when they stood. So it literally means they couldn't stand before Moses and Aaron because of the pain from the boils. It could have been that as well. It's not a fun one. It's very personal. It's a lot more personal than having frogs in your bedroom. Okay? It says, verse 13, Yahweh said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning, confront Pharaoh, and say to him, 'This is what Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go so that they may worship me, or this time I will send the full force of my plagues against you and your officials and your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For by now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with a plague that would have wiped you off the earth. But I've raised you up for this very purpose, that I might show you my power, and that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth.'" So God says, go confront Pharaoh. And what does God say this time? That's different than all the other plagues. And all the plagues have affected everybody there. God makes a point to describe the difference. What was that? That's always the point. The point of all the plagues is that they'll know, that everybody will know he's God and that his name will be proclaimed in all the earth. The difference this time is that he says, this time I'm going to bring the full force of my might against you. So up until now, I've been taking it easy on you, Pharaoh. Now I'm really going to smack you if you don't let my people go. Because I could have, at the very beginning of this, just said, all the Egyptians are dead, the Israelites are free. But I didn't do that because I wanted to do God says, I wanted to do exactly what's going on here so that everybody would know who God is and proclaim his name. So that everybody will know and read thousands of years later, like we are right now, what happened and know that God is great and who God is. Verse 17 says, "You still set yourself against my people and will not let them go. Therefore, at this time tomorrow, I will send the worst hailstorm that has ever fallen on Egypt, from the day it was founded till now. Give an order now to bring your livestock and everything you have in the field to a place of shelter, because the hail will fall on every man and animal that has not been brought in and is still out in the field, and they will die." Those officials of Pharaoh who feared the word of Yahweh hurried to bring their slaves and their livestock inside. But those who ignored the word of the Lord left their slaves and livestock in the field. Okay, so time out. Is all of Egypt united with Pharaoh against the Israelites? No. Some of Pharaoh's officials are afraid of what's going on. Okay, these are the people who have eyes. Okay. Not just the Israelites. The Egyptians had other slaves besides the Israelites too. Okay? So the ones who are looking at going, hey, every time Moses and Aaron say something bad is going to happen, it happens. I'm going to play the safe side here, and I'm going to bring my animals and everybody in so that if the hailstorm comes, they don't get killed. But some still left their livestock and their slaves in the field. Okay? Question number 2 about this. How do they have livestock? All the livestock just died a couple plagues ago. Yeah, they either bought more or stole them from the Hebrews, because the Hebrews were fine. Okay? It says, "Then Yahweh said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward the sky so that hail will fall all over Egypt, on men and animals and on everything growing in the fields of Egypt. When Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and lightning flashed down to the ground. So Yahweh rained hail on the land of Egypt. Hail fell, and lightning flashed back and forth. It was the worst storm in the land of Egypt since the day it had become a nation. Throughout Egypt, hail struck everything in the fields, both men and animals. It beat down everything growing in the fields and stripped every tree. The only place it did not hail was the land of Goshen, where the Israelites were. So, go ahead. Yes, it's probably a shorthand. Duck wants to know, before it was saying God told Moses to tell Aaron to stretch out the staff, and now it's just saying Moses is doing it. It is probably just a shorthand that Aaron is still the one doing it. It's just because he's being directed through Moses. Moses is doing it. Okay? So hail falls everywhere in Egypt and destroys everything, except where the Israelites are. You want to say, how many times do these bad plagues have to happen one place and not another before you get the point? I mean, I feel that way when we lose electric. I don't know if I have a generator now, so I don't care. But every time the power goes out, you check the website for the outages, and it always says there's 496 customers affected. So, it starts with thousands and thousands, and that number keeps going down, and then it gets down to 496 people, and I'm one of those 496 people. It's like, well, how come we're always the last? If trees are just randomly falling across wires, how come it's always, are you like taking the wires from my house and putting it over there? I know it's not a personal thing, but it feels that way. But here, it is personal. The plagues are just on the Egyptians, not on the Israelites. 100%. And you do want to say, are you dumb in any other area? How long does it take to get the point? And some people are getting the point. And by the end of this, what's going to happen in Egypt is the Egyptians are going to hate Pharaoh for not letting the Israelites go because, hey, this is your fault, dude. It says, verse 27, Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron. This time I've sinned, he said to them. Yahweh is in the right, and I and my people are in the wrong. Pray to Yahweh, for we have had enough thunder and hail. I will let you go. You don't have to stay any longer. Moses replied, When I've gone out of the city, I will spread my hands in prayer to Yahweh. The thunder will stop, and there will be no more hail, so you will know that the earth is Yahweh's. But I know that you and your officials still do not fear Yahweh God. Moses said, Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, this is the 8th time? It says, The flax and barley were destroyed since the barley had headed and the flax was in bloom. The wheat and spelt, however, were not destroyed because they ripened later. This parenthetical comment here in verse 31 and 32 is a representation of God's grace. God sends a hailstorm that destroys everything in Egypt. Except the time he sends it, the wheat and the spelt are still growing. So they're going to still have crops. God could have destroyed everything. But even to people who don't fear him and don't love him, he's still gracious and merciful. Verse 33 says, Then Moses left Pharaoh and went out of the city. He spread his hands toward Yahweh, and the thunder and the hail stopped, and the rain no longer poured down on the land. When Pharaoh saw the rain and hail and thunder had stopped, he sinned again. He and his officials hardened their hearts. So Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not let the Israelites go, just as Yahweh had said through Moses. Now I have to go the other way too here. So you want to ask, how many times does the plague have to happen to the Egyptians but not the Israelites before the Egyptians get the point? You also have to ask, how many times do we think we're going to leave and Pharaoh changes his mind before we go, you know what, you're not going to let me leave anyway? Okay? Especially since God's saying he's not going to change his mind. Chapter 10. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his officials, so that I may perform miracles, that may perform miraculous signs of mine among them, that you may tell your children and your grandchildren and all of us how I dealt harshly with the Egyptians and how I performed my signs among them, and that you may know that I am Yahweh." So God says, go to Pharaoh again. He's not going to listen to you, and the reason why he's not going to listen to you is because I need to show them and show you who God is and who God isn't. I would be frustrated if I was Moses. Because God says, go talk to Pharaoh, it's not going to work. How often do you like going to talk to someone when you know ahead of time that they're not going to listen to you? It's so much fun. I won't repeat that one over the internet. But we all have this experience, and God tells Moses ahead of time, it's not going to work. I mean, at least when we go talk to somebody who we think is not going to listen to us, we don't know for sure. Maybe a miracle is going to happen and they're going to listen. Probably not. But God tells Moses, this one's not going to work. But we're going to do it so I can show you and show the Egyptians and all your children and your grandchildren and people for thousands of years who God is and who God isn't. That's the point. And again, we see the mercy of God, the grace of God. It would be very frustrating for God to say, go talk to Pharaoh, it's not going to work. It is less frustrating for God to say, go talk to Pharaoh, it's not going to work, here's why. Okay, often in our lives, we don't find out why God does what he does or wants us to do what he wants us to do until after it's happened. And that's the problem that Moses gets at the burning bush. God says, you're going to know this is all true when you're back here after it's all over. And sometimes that's how it is in our lives. This one is nice because God says, it's not going to work, but here's why it's not going to work. I have a purpose in it, so don't get discouraged. And it may be that at this point, Moses is getting discouraged because this has been a long time, and probably the Israelites are getting angry at him. The Egyptians hate everybody at this point. Pharaoh doesn't like him. It's a rough situation to be in. And what God says is, I have a point in this. Keep following me. And that's what we need to do when we get in a situation where we have difficulty, is we need to keep trusting that God is leading us. Because otherwise it's going to feel pointless and we're going to get really discouraged. My time is short and I don't want to start a whole new plague. Does anybody have any questions? We didn't do the locust yet. I didn't say it. Yes. The locusts are going to eat up the rest of the crops. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Yes, in the back of the room.
Can you just see when Moses goes to Pharaoh and all this hail and everything is going on? I picture in my mind Pooh Bear with a little rain cloud where Pharaoh.
It is like that. But it's the opposite. So the hail and the thunder and everything are going, and Moses and Aaron are walking, and where they're going, the sun is shining overhead, you know? And it is like that. So they're not dodging hailstones as they go. They're safe. All right, then second service will start in a few minutes. Yay.